So guys, this week we're doing something a little different. We're talking about plans of action, specifically Amazon plans of action. And this is something that if you've ever been suspended or you had a mark against your account, you might be familiar with. So today, I'm going to be sharing our plan of action template that we have used in the past with Amazon and had some success. Before we get started, I wanted to preface with a few things. The first is Amazon sees whatever offense as your responsibility, and the only way out is to accept responsibility for what went wrong and to give them a plan of how to fix it. It does not matter if it was the carrier's fault, your warehouse's fault, your manufacturer's fault, the customer's fault. In the end, Amazon is going to blame you. So the only way out is to admit blame, even if you are not to blame. So the first thing you're going to have to do is enter that mindset, right? You're going to have to accept that you have to accept blame for something, even if it's not your fault, because this is the only way to get your account reinstated. Amazon will never tell you that you are right. The next thing to keep in mind is that this is as big as going to court, right? This is something, they are judge, jury, executioner. They got that axe to your head. So you're going to want to make sure that when you go in there, you take this very seriously. This could be the end of your account. And I'm not exaggerating here. Amazon is ruthless. They don't care how much you sold. They don't care how few offenses you have. One little slip up and they're ready to suspend you and get you off of their platform. So it's really important to take this seriously. And then my third and final tip is include as much information as possible. Overshare. Give them as much as you can because you only get so many attempts to write a plan of action before Amazon will permanently suspend your account. And it's important to get everything out there on the first go so you don't end up writing multiples of these and spending all kinds of unnecessary time. So without further ado, here's what my template looks like for writing a plan of action to Amazon. The first thing I like to lead off with is a short section outlining what the problem was and how you are related to the company that Amazon is putting this claim against, right? So you're going to want to say, hi, my name is so-and-so. I am blank blank related to the company or this entity, and this is what has happened. You know, the package didn't get there in time. We had used inventory mixed in. We have multiple listings for the same item. You want to outline what has happened and what you're taking responsibility for, because the first step is identifying the problem. And to identify that problem, you got to admit blame. Next is listing out the ASINs as well as the title of those items that are part of this case, right? So you're going to want to find out what ASINs are affected, get a list of them, put the title down, and make sure that you are stating everything that is part of this plan of action. Then if you are the brand owner, you want to include all the necessary information to prove you are the brand owner. You want to include any kind of documentation that you have, and you want to add that as an attachment or an appendices to your plan of action, because it's really important that we have as much evidence to prove this as possible. If you are a reseller, you want to make sure that you have any information about your ability to resell, any kind of licensing, any kind of agreements, anything you have to prove that you are the entity that is allowed to be selling that product. Then the next thing you need to do is, if you are manufacturing, you want to put all your manufacturer information to prove that the item, was obtained legitimately. If you are a reseller, you may want to include some receipts, some invoices, something to show, this is a legitimate business. We do business legitimately, and, cement the fact that you are the owner or that you are allowed to sell it, and that everything has been gathered legitimately. The next thing you need to identify is the root cause of the issue. This is the most important part, in my opinion, of your appeal. So it's important to give a root cause that Amazon is going to accept. So it's really important to think long and hard here to figure out why might this have occurred. And like I said, you want to dig down deep. You can't just give them the post office screwed up or my warehouse screwed up or something like that. You got to get to the root cause. Why did it get damaged by the post office? Why did my warehouse screw up? Why did the customer complain about X or Y? You have to get down there using, I recommend the 5 why analysis. You can Google that. We have a video about that as well. To get down to that root cause, like where really is this problem? And once you identify that, you're going to want to write it out very clearly, showing a clear understanding that you know where the problem occurred. Because there's going to be somebody reviewing this, and they're going to have to, acknowledge that you know what the problem was and that you can fix it. So that leads to the next point. Once you have identified the root cause, you are going to have to come up with an immediate corrective action, right? Something you're going to do right now to make things better. Whether that's issue refunds, whether that's take back inventory, whether that's deleting a listing, whether that's any kind of thing you can do right now, right immediately now to fix the problem. And you're going to want to do that before you submit this plan of action to show you're serious about fixing the problem, right? That you already are taking steps to correct it. That's how serious you are. And it's really important that you have this immediate step because that's what begins to show a good faith attempt of correcting the problem. Next, you're going to want to list preventative actions to stop this from happening ever again in the future, right? So this is where you kind of look at the problem and you go, how else could this occur? Or what might be a smaller underlying cause of this? This is where you're going to want to give 4 or 5 or 6, as many things as you can think of that you can do differently to prevent something like this or something similar happening in the future. This can happen within your operation. This can happen with the way you're managing your listings. This can happen with your customer service. This can happen with how you're shipping to Amazon. It can happen a lot of different ways, but it's important to list multiple ways you are looking to prevent this from happening again in the future. So, for example, let's say the post office keeps delivering my stuff broken. Well, I might have to redesign packaging at the manufacturer. I might have to add some information to my listing that states that it's a fragile item, right? I might have to package it even myself and not trust Amazon to store and fulfill it. There's a lot of different things you can do as corrective actions to prevent a future problem with breakage or something else. So it's really important to, come up with 4 or 5 or 6 actionable things you can do in the future to prevent a problem. And this is really the meat of this plan of action, right? Because this is where you're saying what you're going to do going forward that's different. And this is where you show Amazon that you're not only taking responsibility, but you have already done something and are now planning to do a whole lot more, and that they can sleep sound at night knowing that you're going to be a good citizen on their platform. Like I said, I know it's a lot, guys, and I mean, when I write these, sometimes this section can be 2 pages long. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. This is the longest part of your thing. Think of it as the body paragraph of an essay. And this is really where you want to, show that sincerity, put all that information out there, and really assure Amazon that you're taking it seriously and that you're taking corrective action. Finally, I like to add an in summary paragraph, right? Like a summary paragraph where I outline the root cause, I outline my initial things, I tell them again what things I'm going to do going forward, and then I wrap up with how this ban has affected me. And then I apologize or, kind of lead into some sort of sign off. I try to end it on a good note, right? Like I try to end it with something like, although this ban has caused me great financial loss, I feel as though working together with Amazon in the future to correct these issues is of a benefit to my business. Just something to show that you are taking the criticism seriously and that you are viewing it as a growth opportunity, because Amazon's all about growth opportunities. After that, you can kind of sign off, and it's important to attach any supporting documents you have. So any documents that show any changes you made, anything you did going forward, anything that proves you own the item. Like I said, it's important to have these documents in there because they're proof, they're concrete evidence, and they're what's going to back your case. Now, even after you go and you write this document, and it'll be 3 to 5 pages long if you do it correctly, you're still going to have a chance that this is denied, right? And if this is denied, what I recommend is going back and looking over your plan of action and finding out, was I sincere, right? Did I actually identify the root cause and not just a cause? And even more than that, were the steps that I listed as corrective actions enough for somebody at Amazon to say, I fixed the problem? If the answer to this is no, I would recommend writing another one to Amazon, but keep in mind that you're only going to get so many tries at this before they suspend your account. Usually I find that it's somewhere between 2 to 4. So, you really don't want to, play with fire too much here with this. So if you think you can improve your plan of action, do so, right? Take that second stab at it. If you sit there and you look at your plan of action after the second or third submission and you're sitting there going, I still don't get it, I don't know why this is getting declined, you may have to seek help from an outside agency. There's all kinds of agencies out there that can help you, that this is all they do, right? All they do is write plans of actions. All they do is deal with Amazon. So they're very good at it. And most of the time, they'll have more success than you will. But these places are expensive. It's a costly expense that a lot of times you can get around by just writing a really good plan of action. And that's why I recommend having a great plan of action template to work off of. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the actual template that I've used a few times. I've also shared it with a few of my friends, a couple of our customers. This is what I give around as a resource, and it's helped a lot of people. It's not perfect. I still have people come back to me and say, hey, it didn't work. I had to take another step forward and, go with some sort of outside help. But I think this is a great starting point, and it's one of the most comprehensive templates you're going to find. I hope you guys all learned something. Thank you so much for watching. We put up episodes every week, and we're always, trying to put out good content for you guys. If you could do us a huge favor, if you think you learned something today, or you think that this is going to help you and your business out, just give us a like, give us a subscribe. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. It helps us grow our channel. And we thank you guys so much for being here with us today, and we hope to see you next week.